Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
What motivated you, of all areas of law, to get into this area of justice and protecting consumers?
I've always been interested in frauds and scams, particularly at the health area. That was just something that I always found concerning, that people would be interested in protecting their health and would fall prey to snake oil kind of remedies. So it turned out, the FTC was an agency that actually had a program to go after deceptive health claims, and luckily enough, I was able to be hired to do that. And 25 years later, here I am.
Congratulations. It's very unusual for people to have the opportunity to work in a field that they love and to express themselves like that.
Yes, I feel very lucky to be here.
What challenges are most critical and pressing for the FTC at the present?
Yeah, and first I have to say, of course, I'm only speaking for myself, not for the commission, but I think false advertising is, of course, kind of an evergreen problem over the years. Like I said, I've been here for 25 years and I've got more work than we know what to do with. But I think the challenges always arise when there's new technology or new media that allow false advertising to be disseminated in different ways, or to be supercharged, to go up its scale. So right now that would be, artificial intelligence is a big challenge. How is that going to affect consumers? How is it going to be used by advertisers in ways that are legitimate but also could be deceptive to consumers? And we recently had a sweep of a few cases that related to AI issues to highlight that the FTC is interested in this topic. Another challenge, I think we are dealing with a lot of issues around reviews and testimonials, because user-generated content has become such an important way to market products and services. We are just seeing increasingly a lot of issues around that. So that's what's driven our interest in updating our endorsements and review and testimonial guides, as well as we recently promulgated a rule about reviews issues. In general, I think the big challenge is things like social media, personalized ads, things that make it harder for us to find problematic ads, because there are, social media advertising is so widespread. I might see a different ad than you see. How are we going to kind of get a handle on the scope of deceptive advertising, and how are we going to find it? How are we going to, remedy it?
Has the FTC made use of any tools that can proactively go out and, or seen any of these tools, or looked at any of these tools to proactively go out and find such false claims, for instance?
Yeah, I can't really comment specifically on our investigative techniques, but we have a variety of ways to kind of identify problematic advertising, and we are aware that there are now lots of tools being available, including artificial intelligence tools that might be able to summarize or find problematic advertising. We also rely a lot on our consumer complaint database, and given the volume of complaints that we get there are tools there to help us identify or target specific types of complaints and issues.
Have you ever been scammed?
Yes, I have. I can't remember any specifics, but there have definitely been times, and I think just recently I had a situation where it was essentially a very small disclosure of a charge that I didn't see. And then I was charged this, and then when I went back, I said, oh, well, it was there, but it was definitely not placed in a way that consumers would normally see it, and I did not.
Right. Disclosures must be clear and simply made and understood.
So that was, yes, but it was just to show you that it happens to everyone. Everyone has a consumer protection story. We do as much outreach to stakeholders as we can, whether it's through conferences, with marketers or other stakeholders, even consumer advocates, so that they can pass that on to their networks. But yeah, we definitely encourage external organizations that are promoting this culture of compliance to help get the word out. That can only help.
Are there weak spots?
I would say I mean, I think one thing that I'm always concerned about is in any kind of new market, developing market, that there are new entrants. Sometimes they're smaller business, but it's not only smaller businesses that just, like you said, are simply not aware that there are rules of the road for advertising. They might not be aware of the FTC, of the state attorneys general, or class actions, and how that can affect their bottom line, but also their reputation. So, anything that gets the word out, I think, to kind of communities, business communities that may not be aware of the existence of, legal and ethical risks, is we would encourage that.
Thank you. Are there specific metrics or outcomes the FTC values most when assessing the effectiveness of industry co-regulation or self-regulation?
Yeah, so I mean, I think first thing I would say is I wouldn't say we're regularly assessing other programs. We are aware of different kinds of self-regulatory programs out there. I think the questions we would look to see whether we think they're helpful or not is, does it actually result in marketplace change? Are false claims or unsubstantiated claims being taken down if they're spotted? Are they, in this industry, is there a low incidence of problematic false advertising claims? I think we're also interested in kind of the deterrent value of them. So are there repeat players who keep coming up and seeing the same conduct over and over? Like, you don't want to see that. So, it's a little hard to say, like I said, because we're not really evaluating them. But I mean, one thing I'll say also for self-regulation kind of programs is that even at the FTC, we're constantly trying to improve what we're doing. We're looking at our how do we target, or how do we identify targets? How do we get our messages out? Are there different audiences we should be reaching out to? When we have orders, legal orders, we look at, do these order provisions work? Should we be considering adding new ones or different ones to adapt to what we're seeing in the marketplace? So for any kind of program, I think it just has to be it's really important for there to be constant reevaluation to make sure that it continues to work. Yeah, I mean, I think it could work, and there are successful examples, but there have to be guardrails, to ensure independence, some level of independence there. And so that's why, the concern that we see sometimes, and I'm not calling out anyone specifically, just saying these are the kinds of things that would raise our concerns, is that, are these certifications truly independent? Is there any kind of pay-to-play aspect to it? Are these standards that are being set, are they really are they set high enough?
Right.
There's always an incentive to kind of lower the standards so that more of your members will meet the standards. Of course, there has to be buy-in from most of industry, otherwise, nobody else is going to want to participate in this.
Right.
And I think a mechanism for effective enforcement with teeth really matters too.
Yes.
And so all of those issues, are the kind of things that could trip up self-regulation or co-regulation. And in emerging areas, I think, like you were talking about, maybe AI or something, where I think the incentives might be kind of fraught because there are a lot of new entrants. It's a very competitive space. Everyone's trying to get market share. They might, even though that's where a self-regulatory program could help a lot, it's also probably harder to herd the cats to get them to participate in one that has some strength and some teeth.
Totally.
Right. And, FTC or other law enforcement will find you if you don't get there on your own.
Right. What would you have to say to these people who are really taking a leadership position in the industry?
I just want to say thank you for doing that. Ethics is the most important aspect of the job. Even with my job, it's, we hold ourselves to very high standards, and I think, you can never go wrong by taking the high road and taking the ethical position.
Thank you for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.